So guys, I thought that I'll stop here en route to my airfield and I'll just give you an overview of my car over here. Well, that's a very healthy joke. I just wanted to pull it off. I just wanted to feel that rich that I can own and buy a LEXUS 500D, which is 3.3 crores on road. Now, what if I told you that you have 12 lakh rupees to spend? What would you spend it on? Probably a rear wheel drive Thar or another car or a decent superbike actually. But this LX 500D demands 12 lakh rupees as just insurance. And that's how expensive this car is in India. It's actually expensive anywhere in the world, and there's a good reason. The reason is not luxury, the reason are not the features. The reason is that this car is built like a tank. It's built to last, and then everything around it, the luxury, the image, that is secondary. And people who know, they would go for this. And India has had limited units and all of them were sold. That is what I have been told. These cars here in India, they're actually used by a lot of politicians. And in this car, you actually sit up front mostly, not in the rear seat. There are many reasons to it. Number one, you probably might want to be seen there when paparazzi, when you arrive in a hotel or an event, they want to click you, you want to be in the front. You would sit here in the front and your chauffeur is going to be there, of course, driving. Which brings me to the point that this is actually not a driver's car. It does not engage you in that sense. I mean, even the console, like I said, is pretty much straight, the center. The passenger should also be able to see what's going on, and it's not inclined towards the driver. So all these kind of things, they make this car worthy of someone who's always working on the go, who's always thinking on the go, who has to make a lot of phone calls, who has to do a lot of wire transfers, receive them, stuff like that, that us mortals would probably do only when we are probably making an Instagram post or reel while sitting on the passenger seat. There's a huge difference in the way that people who buy this car and between people like us. No matter how much you try, I don't think you can understand that unless until you reach those stratospheric heights equivalent to the price of this car. And I just can't decide what I am for the day. Am I a chauffeur? Am I a rich guy? Or am I simply a journalist, a reviewer? Because when you are in this car, it is impossible not to feel larger than life, not to have that sense of invincibility. It is just impossible. So what I've come to figure that this is actually not a driver's car. I mean, usually the chauffeur sits here, and on the left side, if you're a politician, as a lot of politicians in India, they prefer this car. So you will be sitting over there making your calls, deciding where to take your private jet next time, or in fact you probably might be going to the airfield in this. The screens, they're actually flat, they are not inclined towards the driver. It means that it's not really driver focused. The gentleman sitting in the passenger seat, he should be able to see everything clearly what's going on. If you talk about driving experience, the car is almost, it was like close to 3 tons before they launched this one, the new LX 500D, which is around 200 kgs lesser than the outgoing model. And it doesn't make a lot of difference, but yes, probably it is a little bit more peppy. And truth be told, it's the first time I'm ever driving a Lexus SUV. This is a very different kind of an experience for me, because in India, you don't get a petrol version, you only get the diesel version, which is just the 500D. And there is a certain, the rumble and all the, things going on in a diesel engine, which actually seep through in the engine, and it can never be as refined as a petrol. So if I go ranting about the technical specifications of this car, so this is actually a V6, 300 horsepower, twin turbo, and 700 Newton meters of torque. And that is good enough to propel this from 0 to 100 in around 8 seconds. It's not stupid fast, it does not need to be. It's quite fast for the 2.67 odd tons that it's hauling. If you come on the side, this is another hallmark of the 500D. The length is like, it just keeps on going and going and going. It's pretty big. The dimensions are huge. It's like a tank. When you sit in this, it demands the people get the hell out of my way, kind of. I mean, it would be safe to say this grill is the largest grill on a car, on an SUV ever made. And this is, I believe, 700 millimeters, which is 70 centimeters, which is actually quite a lot. And this is bigger than any BMW, any car out there. The rear is not that striking. It is plain minimalistic. There's nothing wrong with it. Like it's it says LX500D. This is the main thing, LEXUS, which is written over there. That is making a statement. And if a person knows his or her cars, then they know you are a bloody rich guy, you're an influential guy. It's not really made for the twisties. It doesn't matter because it's not a diverse car, like I said, but there is a lot of body roll, and of course, why would it be? It's very high, it's pretty heavy, and the suspension is so sublime that you won't even feel the potholes. I mean, it has to be literally a huge crater or something on the road for you to feel something inside this car when you're just sitting and working on your laptop or doing something, right? I was going through a lot of reviews online, and a lot of people, they were saying it is an overpriced car. Why would you buy this when you can put in a little bit more money and get a better car, or actually put less money and get a much better car in terms of features or performance? Now, my friend, number one, are you one of those people who can actually afford this car? If not, then I respectfully think you don't have a say in this. This is not for you. This is not about money. This is about status. This is about this being a symbol. This is about much more than what you can afford in that kind of money. If a person is ready to drop that kind of money on a car which doesn't, according to you, have features in a which you can get in a lesser priced car, then that guy actually knows what he's doing, right? I drove the Aston Martin DBX 707, which is, of course, it's double the power of this car. It's a super car, it's a super SUV. I have also driven the Urus, and all those cars, they are different. I mean, can you imagine a politician, for example, or a CEO of a very, very big company, who wants himself to be seen as a person of a certain stature, meaning business, and just to the point kind of a guy, actually coming out of an Urus and going into a conference. And that is not just going to do the math, in a lot of people's brain. It's just not going to be, because people are going to say, okay, this guy is rich and this guy is that, but people are probably not going to take him or her seriously. I mean, that is a fact. So every car has a specific aura. It attaches itself to the person's, the owner's personality, and vice versa. I, for example, would look odd, coming out of this car. I would look, okay, fine, I'm a rich guy, stuff like that. But it doesn't match my personality. It doesn't match what I do. I would probably go for a Lamborghini Urus. This is the truth, This car is one of the rarest SUVs you will find, especially in India. And that is a master stroke by Toyota because of the pricing they have done. That just didn't want anyone to go for this. They wanted people with a certain stature to go for the 500D, especially because that is how you do marketing, right? I mean, people don't even know what they did, and I hope I'm right about this because it makes sense. If I have to be someone different from everyone else, and I want people to talk about me, man, this guy has got so much money that he splurges on a car which doesn't have a feature like this, which is in my car, which costs around 1 crore less. That is what I'm talking about, my man. The real deal is that it is one of the most reliable cars, if not the most reliable in the world, that you just can sit, you can take it to anywhere, you can survive a bomb attack, you can go through sand dunes, snow, whatever terrain, and this car is going to come out unscathed. I mean, relatively, it's just I'm speaking, people like sheikhs in Dubai, a lot of other people outside of India, they use this car in rough terrains, in the desert and in places where they feel that number one priority is to get back home to your palace or whatever in one piece, and your car should not break down at any cost. And that is what Lexus brings on the table, essentially Toyota. So this is much more about, guys, in this much of money, what else you can buy. And unless until we get to that level, I think it's a moot point just to speak about the review, the technicality, the specification of this car. If you want a Lexus 500D, you would get that and nothing else.